Hi guys, in this tutorial, I'll focus on the materials I used and some study tips to help you ace your NCLEX. If you haven't done so already, make sure to check out my other video on how I applied for NCLEX on my own. I'll post the link on the upper right hand corner right here, or you can also check the description box below. So brief background, I graduated from nursing school in 2006. So it's been 14 years since I was out of school before I took the NCLEX exam. I took my test in January of 2020 and I passed with 75 questions on first attempt. Now don't get me wrong, because I believe due to the pandemic, they now reduced the minimum number of questions to 60, but when I took it, 75 was the minimum. I only had less than 2 months worth of preparation, having a full-time job at the same time. It was tough, but I'm fortunate enough because I arranged for my work schedule to be adjusted so I can study in the morning, then work in the afternoon till evening. For the review materials, first, I have Mark Lemek's recordings. It's a little obsolete, but you can still pick up a lot of very important pieces of information in there and some techniques to ace NCLEX. Now, I listened to his recordings only once, but I made sure I took down notes. And for the 2 months or less than 2 months of preparation, I believe I went through my notes at least 3 times. So overall, again, I only listened once, but went over my notes at least 3 times. Those recordings, I remember the link was shared by a lot of people in the Facebook groups I joined in. I encourage you guys to join these groups because a lot of people are contributing to the community there and it's very helpful. I will post some of the links in the description box below. Next one I used is the Saunders NCLEX-RN examination book. It's the 8th edition, and I believe they now have the 9th or 10th edition where COVID topics are also included. But I'm telling you, this book right here is like your 4 years in nursing consolidated in a single book. I read this book cover to cover. And if you notice, I have some dates already allotted for certain sections of the book. Right there. So then I already knew the exact date when I expect to finish the entire book down to the comprehensive test. So very important, once you have already set the dates when you plan to go over that specific section, stick to it, don't skip it, or else it's gonna pile up the next day and it will be hard or a little bit difficult to catch up. And if you notice on this book, I have a lot of sticky notes right there. Now, in every section of the book, you're gonna have practice questions. And I encourage you guys to really answer the practice questions so that you can go ahead and score yourself later and take note where the mistakes are. And when you flip the page, you will have the key answers. Really understand the rationales here so it makes sense. Why is it wrong? Why is it correct? It's all in the book. And of course, on the very last part, you're gonna have your comprehensive test. This is the longest test in the book. So again, make sure to answer it without cheating because again, the answer keys are at the back. So you can go ahead and check your answers later once you're done taking the test, and you can go ahead and gauge yourself by doing so. Another study tip here is I synchronized it with Uworld. So yes, I purchased or signed up with Uworld's 60-day plan. And depending on the topic that I go through the book, let's say, for example, I did maternity nursing for today. After going through the section of the book, I then go to Uworld and also answer questions related to maternity nursing. Then let's say, for example, today I do pediatric nursing, or this week, pediatric nursing. In Uworld, after going through the book and doing the practice questions, I then do Uworld questions and also focus on the same topic and also do the pediatric nursing questions in there. So in Uworld, it's a question bank. Now, it is very important that you finish all the questions in there and really read through the rationales. Take notes and again, synchronize it with your Saunders book if you can. Now, the 60-day plan of Uworld only came with 1 assessment. And I wanted to have 2 assessments so I can see if there was any improvement. And I tried to upgrade to the 90-day plan, and unfortunately they can't do that. Instead, they just added another assessment to my pre-existing plan. So I still had 60-day worth of access plus 2 assessments. Another thing I really like about Uworld is the user interface. It mimics exactly how the actual NCLEX exam looks like, including the blue color. It becomes a lot easier for you to navigate around the interface of the actual NCLEX exam because Uworld somehow has immersed you or exposed you to the same experience. The next material I have here is Quick Facts for NCLEX from Remar Review. You can just Google it online, and on your search results, you're going to find it. I think they sell this for around $50 or less if it's on sale. But what I like about this booklet is that it summarizes all the important information for disease conditions. It's bite-sized and easier for you to just, go through it and remember them. So it's also arranged in alphabetical order. And what I did was I read the book before bedtime if I'm not too exhausted yet. And 2 days before my exam, I made sure I read it cover to cover. Next, I also have this nursing exam cram sheet for NCLEX-RN. Again, I found this from the Facebook group shared by one of the members in there. And I can try to find that link again for you and post it in the description box below. But I like this because, again, it's a summary of all the very important facts for different conditions, including your normal values and common signs and symptoms. So many things. Another material I have here is the Quizlet Top 30 NCLEX Meds. So just a quick list of all those medications, very important, and what to take note and what they're for, and all those quick facts as well. I also have this Kaplan decision tree for answering questions, which also is very helpful. And there's also some answering strategies in there included, different NCLEX topics right there. And there you go. And lastly, I have here Hearst testing strategies. So again, another very helpful material that really helped me when I took the exam. So what I did with these materials right here, on the very day of my exam, I had it with me in the car. My husband was driving me to the testing center and I was going through it. So that was like few minutes or at least an hour before my test. And I used all these materials to just quickly review everything. And at the same time, I also brought with me, of course, this one on the very day of the exam, just to skim through some notes and very important information and make sure I don't forget. Another tip for you guys is to start studying at the same time when you are going to take your test. So meaning, for example, you booked a test or exam that will start at 8 a.m. You also have to start studying every 8 a.m. This way, your brain gets acclimated to it. Another thing I did on the very last week before my exam date, I already knew that I will be waking up at 5 a.m. on the day of my test. So what I did was, on that last week, I made sure I wake up every 5 a.m. every day, do some light workout, have breakfast, and start studying at 8. This way, your body is like programmed to that routine already. So on the very day you take your exam, you don't feel crappy because you're already used to that routine. With my Uworld self-assessment, so I only had 2 assessments available for me, right? So I took the first assessment 5 days before the exam. The result was 69th percentile, very high chance of passing. The second assessment, I took it 2 days before my exam. The result was 44th percentile, high chance of passing. Now again, don't let this discourage you if you take a very low exam result or assessment result, because the very important thing with those assessments is that you read the rationales, understand where the mistakes are, and make sure you remember them. So keep pushing and believe you can do it. Now for the official NCLEX result. My test was 8 a.m. on a Thursday, and Continental Testing Services already posted the result as of January 10th at 6 p.m. That's Pacific time. Now, I checked on Pearson VUE and it wasn't available yet. So I did try the PVT trick in there, but I got a bad pop-up. So I'm telling you guys that PVT trick, it's not really accurate, in my opinion. So on Saturday, the 11th, I checked Pearson VUE again. Quick result was already available Saturday morning, and that was about 48 hours after I took the exam. If you ask me, I find NCLEX questions easier than the questions in Uworld. But there's a tendency for the choices in the NCLEX exam to be a bit confusing. But if you know your content, you understand the disease processes, you'll find your way around it. If this video helped you, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I can't wait for you guys to have that RN attached to your name. Best of luck.